Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Jeffrey with Gaming in Circles, and today we got a new discussion for you. In this discussion, we're going all about the Bethesda and Xbox slash Microsoft and how I think they're gonna release their games exclusive or non-exclusive. And if you love these type of discussion videos, go and drop me a subscribe and ring that bell notification when I drop a new video. So yeah, let's get into it. So for these types of deals, we've never had something so monumental in the gaming industry for this long. People say like the Activision Blizzard one, that was a long time ago, but this is more of it's a console manufacturer getting ownership over a large publisher with over 6 development studios. So regarding our past comments from Phil Spencer and Team Xbox, they were saying, they love coming out with quotes saying, we love gamers to play anywhere and anything in any game. So this came down to people debating and arguing, is Xbox really going to make these Bethesda games exclusive to the Xbox platform, or are they going to continue releasing games on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5? So I want to break this down into 3 different parts, right? You got the first wave, or technically first point, you got the second wave, and then you got wave 2.5. So let's get it started with the first wave, or the first point, which is technically the first wave of games for Bethesda that's coming out the soonest, which would be Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, and a couple other games, maybe like a new Wolfenstein or something, that'll probably come within the next year or two. So some of these haven't been announced yet, but I'm only speculating or making assumptions with these games. Now, I didn't include Starfield with this one, but I'll talk about that later. So Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, they already have deals to be timed exclusive for PS5, and I think one or other 2 unannounced games are also going to be on PS5 also. Now I want to break this down because so with Microsoft quoting that they want gamers to play anywhere on any platform, this allows Microsoft to really uphold that reputation of the quotes they've really been saying over like the past year, past couple months of playing anywhere. Because honestly, like if say they said that those quotes, which they did, and then they bought Bethesda and they decided to break those contracts with Sony and make Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, there would be sort of an outrage. And not only that, there would sort of be like bad business blood between Microsoft and Sony, and the casual gamer audience probably wouldn't care because they love the console wars, but that could lead to further negative business consequences down the line, which I'll get to later on. But yeah, ultimately it's upholding that reputation for allowing players to play games on any platform regardless of platform, which is, I think these games coming soon will be on PlayStation 5. Now the second point with this first wave of games is that this really gives the opportunity for quality control. Now, by saying that, and hoping that Microsoft actually put some quality control in Bethesda games, because we've all seen, the mess of Skyrim, whether it's on Xbox 360 or PS3. Those were filled with a lot of jank, a lot of bugs, and some other Bethesda games like Fallout, and you could say the first Dishonored, they had some issues on their own with bugs. Now, if those games happen to perform and look way better than past titles, all the credit will go to Microsoft, which will undoubtedly carry over to PlayStation players' heads. And we could see that, trickle down when new games come out that are like 5, 6 years down later, which I'll get to later on. But overall, we'll get to see how Microsoft, really um, performs with these new Bethesda titles and interacts with their studios. Now, third, still off this first wave, it really strengthens the Game Pass argument versus $70 PS5 games. Now, this is what I really think they'll allow. This is the main reason why I think they'll let these first wave of games go on PS5, is so players can really see the benefit of Game Pass versus having to buy a single game outright. So we've seen this. We've seen Sony say they're gonna raise the price of games, right? But that's for their exclusives, and you can't get Sony exclusives on Game Pass. So hearing the news of Bethesda being bought out, and then on top of that, you'll hear stuff like when Deathloop finally comes to Xbox, and then Xbox is like, oh look, you don't have to pay for Deathloop like you did on PlayStation. You can play it for free as long as you're subscribed to Game Pass. Now, seeing that can also look into the minds, not really look, it really messes with PlayStation players' minds and be like, man, I really, I got this game before Xbox players, but I had to pay a whole $60-$70 just to play this single game, when 2, 3, or 4 Bethesda games are already on Game Pass, and I only had to pay $15 a month. It, like I said, it really strengthens that Game Pass argument, and along with the other arguments like the quality control argument and upholding reputation, those are like the main reasons why I think these games will come to PS5. And lastly, it's not really a point for PlayStation players, but I think selling those first wave of games on PlayStation 5 will allow Microsoft and Xbox to have that short injection of cash to make up for all the money they spent acquiring Bethesda. Now, you can't really make $7.5 billion back releasing 4 games on PlayStation, but I think the point here is that since these games are so close to release, why not release them on PlayStation, make at least some of that money back? I know we'll take a hit in the exclusive argument, but at least make some of that money back in the short term, so that way in the long term we'll be set, we'll be straight. So that's just for the first wave of games, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, maybe the next Wolfenstein depending on how close it is, and maybe one other game. So moving on, we got the second wave, Wave 2. Now these are games probably like 3.5, 4 years down the line, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, the game after Deathloop, the game after Ghostwire Tokyo. I believe all these games are going to be exclusive moving forward. So if you look at the arguments I made in Wave 1, this Wave 2 will basically be the defining point. So at this point, 3-4 years down the line, Microsoft upheld them Sony contracts for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, and they upheld the reputation for allowing gamers to play those exclusives that came out year 1 and year 2 of the Bethesda buyout. So gamers won't. This is basically giving Microsoft and Xbox an out, so gamers won't rage at them when games start becoming exclusive to Xbox. They're giving them that cushion. Now, when it comes to quality control, let's just say the games turned out really good, like almost no bugs. They looked really good. They looked really next gen. Then they will still give Microsoft that quality control. Like, they'll give credit to Microsoft for it. Excuse me. And in turn, people will start saying that Xbox exclusives are up to par with Sony exclusives. And because since they had that such deep integration with quality control with Bethesda, they don't mind anymore that the games are exclusive. Because when it comes to companies being bought out, everyone makes the argument of like, listen, we don't want EA to buy it out, we don't want Activision to buy it out, because they're just gonna take whatever they bought and ruin it. But since the opposite is happening, if the opposite does happen, everyone will give credit to Microsoft. No one will care that the games are exclusive, and it'll finally give Xbox true exclusives now that these Wave 2 games are not coming out on PlayStation. And it'll ultimately stop the argument that I'm pretty sure the team at Xbox hates, which is, oh, they only got Halo, they only got Gears, they only got Forza. And having, Elder Scrolls and Starfield and like Wolfenstein 3 and stuff only on Xbox will really help that exclusive lineup. Now, moving on to 2.5 Wave, which isn't really a wave, but it's just some extra points that I think really helps the direction that I think Microsoft and Xbox will go after acquiring Bethesda. Now, this might be a little, I wouldn't say controversial, but it's more up in the air, in which I think that after all the games start becoming exclusive, that all the underperforming exclusives will actually go to PlayStation 5 6 months to a year afterward. Now, what I mean by that, let me give you an example, right? Say Dishonored 2 came out on Series X, right? Critically acclaimed, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Everyone loves it, but almost no one bought it. So, Microsoft and Xbox and Bethesda can be like, look, this game is really good, but it was only on Xbox and it underperformed, even on Game Pass, because there was no word of mouth. I mean, there was word of mouth, but somehow it just flew under the radar for some reason. So what we're going to do, we're going to release it on PlayStation, and since there's such high praise for the game, if it does come out on PlayStation and PlayStation gamers eat it up, then they can use that to fuel, say, a possible Dishonored 3, make it exclusive, and then all the PlayStation players who played it will have a go reason to buy an Xbox, to subscribe to Game Pass. That's why I think they'll put their underperforming exclusives on PlayStation if that does happen. And people will be like, oh, your Xbox, make them exclusive. But at the same time, Xbox can use the excuse that Bethesda performs independently. They've said it as soon as they bought them. They were like, look, we're here to give Bethesda resources. They act independently. They operate independently. And they can use the same argument every time they take an underperforming game on Xbox and also put it on PlayStation down the line. They can be like, look, we had no thought in this. We didn't push them in any direction. They wanted to do this. And it also, because of that, it'll give a positive PR spin to Xbox. And, I'm pretty sure Xbox will probably parade around this on Twitter and be like, look, we let gamers, regardless of platform, play our exclusives. And this will give good credit to them for a couple weeks, and at the same time, it'll do the opposite for Sony and PlayStation, in which you'll have people start questioning Sony, be like, how come you don't put your exclusives on Xbox? How come you don't put, Last of Us, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima on Xbox? Xbox is doing it with like Dishonored and Wolfenstein and stuff. How come you're not doing it? And it'll give that good PR spin to Xbox and a little bit of negative PR spin to Sony. And yeah, so that's basically it. At the end of the day, if you put the underperforming game on PlayStation that was critically acclaimed, it'll give new life to it, bring new players, and lastly, hopefully turn a profit. Yeah, so those are really, I think, the reasons and the methods that Microsoft and Xbox will release Bethesda games after acquiring them. You know, wave 1, release on Microsoft, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5. Wave 2, that's 3-4 years down the line, everything exclusive. And then after that, anything that underperforms will go to PlayStation like 6 months to a year after the original Xbox exclusive release. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think how they're gonna do it? Are they just gonna make everything after Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo exclusive? Do you even think Starfield is getting exclusive? You know, there was those rumors that Sony was trying to make Starfield a timed exclusive also, so that could also give a hint that Starfield might be coming to PS5 also. So that could be sort of another little blow to Microsoft and their exclusive lineup going forward. But what do you think? Let me know. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe, ring that bell. It's a growing channel, would appreciate your support. This is Jeffrey with Gaming in Circles, and I am out.